My grandfather left me a farm in Maine with one rule. On New Year's Eve, stop every clock at 11:59. I never believed in my grandfather's tall tales. He was an old Maine farmer, the kind of man from a place where the trees are taller than the houses, and the fog is so thick you can get lost on your own porch. When he passed, I inherited his old farmhouse. Tucked inside his will, amongst the deeds and documents, was a yellowed note. Sam, on New Year's Eve, when the big hand crawls to 11:59, stop every clock in this house. Wristwatches, wall clocks, even the oven timer. Don't start them again until the first ray of sun. This time of year, the line between then and now gets thin. Don't let the guests know time is still moving. I laughed. It's 2026. Who's this guest? What line? December 31st, I was alone. Outside, a blizzard howled, burying the downstairs windows in snow. The house groaned like an old ship. At 11:50 p.m., I sat in the armchair, nursing a beer, watching the antique grandfather clock in the hall. Its pendulum swung with a heavy, hypnotic tick-tock. Tick-tock. By 11:55 p.m., I started feeling uneasy. The silence in the house was unnatural. Even the blizzard outside seemed to quiet, dissolving into a muffled white noise. Fine, I thought, just out of respect for the old man. I went around the house, stopped the kitchen clock, unplugged the microwave, took off my wristwatch. Only the grandfather clock remained. Big. Oak. 11:59 p.m. I opened the glass door and grabbed the pendulum. It froze. The silence became absolute. My own heartbeat sounded like a drum. I sat on the floor, leaning against the clock. A minute passed, or so I felt. Then another. I reached for my phone to check the time, but the screen wouldn't light up. Nothing. It was dead, though I'd charged it all evening. And then I heard it. A knock, not on the door. The knock came from beneath the floorboards. Slow, heavy. Thump, thump, thump. Then a voice. It drifted from the empty living room. It was my grandfather's voice. Sam, what time is it? The hairs on the back of my neck stood up. Grandpa had died 3 months ago. Sam, I forgot what numbers look like. The voice continued. Show me the time. Help me come back. I clamped my hand over my mouth to stifle a scream. Something emerged in the hallway. It wasn't Grandpa's ghost. It was a tall, skeletal shadow, its limbs bending at unnatural angles. It didn't walk. It flowed along the walls, leaving a trail of frost. It approached the grandfather clock. I froze, not daring to breathe, just around the corner. The shadow was inches from me. Such cold radiated from it that my fingers began to turn blue. The clocks are stopped, the shadow rasped. Time is frozen. The old man tricked me again. It began to scratch at the wood of the clock. The sound was like claws tearing old flesh. The shadow began to search. It opened cabinets, looked under sofas. It was searching for any rhythm, any mechanism that counted the seconds of our lives. And then I made a mistake. In my pocket were my father's old mechanical pocket watch, a sentimental gift. I'd forgotten it. And in that deathly silence, it audibly clicked. Tick. The shadow froze. It slowly, agonizingly slowly, turned its head towards me. It had no face, only a gaping vertical tear in the middle of its head from which smelled damp earth and old snow. Little clock. Ticking, it whispered. I bolted up the stairs, hearing the creature thudding its limbs against the steps behind me. I locked myself in the bedroom and huddled in a corner under the blankets, clutching the ticking watch. I knew if I didn't stop it, it would get in, but the mechanism was jammed. I tried to smash it against the floor, but it was too sturdy. The shadow was already scratching at the door. The wood began to splinter. Sam, let the old year in. Give me a second, just 1 second of your life. I closed my eyes and started counting to myself. I didn't know how long I had to count until sunrise. 100? 1,000? 1,000,000? The door burst open with a crash. Cold filled the room. I felt an icy touch at my throat. And at that moment, the first barely visible ray of gray winter sun struck the window. Morning, I woke up on the floor. The bedroom door was torn from its hinges. The grandfather clock in the hall was shattered to splinters. My phone turned on. January 1st, 8 a.m. I looked at the watch in my hand. The mechanism was frozen. But not because I broke it. The hands had simply vanished. There was nothing on the dial but a blank white surface. I left an hour later. I sold the farm for a pittance, but warned the buyer, whatever you do on New Year's Eve, just leave this state. 2 weeks have passed, but I still can't sleep. Because now, in the utter silence, I hear it. Not from my pocket, not from the wall. Tick. 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 The sound comes from inside my chest, as if something inside me is counting down to the next New Year.